Drake Maye was the runner-up. Stafford wins a very close MVP. Also receiving first-place votes, Josh Allen. CMC came in fourth, but he didn't receive any. The Prince comes in fifth, yet another top 7 finish for him, so that's good.
Yes.
But no first-place votes. And then Herbert got 1 first-place vote from Sam Monson, who raised his hand and said, you don't need to look, here I am. I'm the guy who voted for Justin Herbert. This guy had the worst offensive line in the NFL all season. Despite that, he was working miracles. Oh, my gosh.
Not really.
Almost every single game.
The standard for miracles is lowered
Yes,
a lot.
it's not-
Plummeted.
I mean, it's not water into wine.
Right,
like
right.
it used to be back in Bruce day.
He embodied value. Put extra on the value.
Yeah.
You got a lot of texts accusing you of being the Herbert voter.
I mean, listen, everyone knows, I've always said it, Sam Munson knows ball.
Yeah.
What's
He
funny
must
is
have owed you something.
Sam Munson used to do a weekly segment on my radio show
Sam
for
is great.
years.
I like Sam.
Yeah.
So I've known Sam for forever. Shout out to him. And yes, it was funny. I was watching a movie with my wife last night, so I was off the phone until this morning, and woke up to 11 text messages from 11 different people being like, "I didn't know you got a Hall of Fame, MVP vote." So I appreciate all of the belief. And even I would not have gone that far.
Thank you.
Listen, I said it on the show that I would have voted for Drake Maye for MVP. You and I disagreed about it, and partly because of value, and I would have put Herbert third. I would have gone Maye 1, Stafford 2, Herbert 3, and the value and 11 wins with the worst offensive line and the numbers under pressure. Like, I do think Herbert is a superstar, was spectacular this season.
You thought he was spectacular this season.
I did.
Final 7 weeks of the year, he had 7 touchdowns.
Yeah.
They
Circumstances, man. Winning games
But
and
he's not
overcoming
the
adversity.
only player that dealt with injury and a banged up offensive line.
He had the worst one.
Okay, but other guys were close.
And all the other guys that were close missed the playoffs.
So I guess here's my question. So now when it comes to Justin Herbert, we care about winning games. That's the part of this that I find so interesting. Because the folks who have been the biggest Justin Herbert supporters for every step of his career prior to this year have hammered louder than anybody, and I agree with them to a degree, wins are not a quarterback stat.
They're not.
Most yards in the first 5 years and the amazing arm talent and all of this stuff. And this year, when the numbers were pedestrian, he found ways to win. I find that a little rich. I also find the fact that over the final half of the year, he had 7 touchdowns, an 88 passer rating, had a game against Jacksonville where they scored 6 points, he threw for 80 yards, somehow even worse game maybe against Houston, and they didn't play in Week 18.
Yeah, skipped the game.
To say he's been was the 3rd most valuable player in the league, when it felt to me the argument that I was hearing was he's not even the most valuable player on his own team.
Nah, that's
Joe Alt is.
That's a creative turn of phrase by you. Like that wasn't the argument at all year.
Would Joe Alt have been terrible if Justin Herbert was out? I bet Joe Alt could do his job great, whether Justin Herbert's back there or not.
Listen, we can show how Mahomes looked once Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith were out the last couple of weeks, and it was awful. When you lose your best offensive linemen, and they are 2 of your 4 highest paid players, and they happen to be tackles,
I give you that.
It is going to be a decimating thing. But that's just and I would not have voted Herbert for MVP.
But the fact that you'd have him third is stunning to me, too. It's like voting a guy in the NBA who averaged 16 points and 5 assists a game, but made the playoffs and a lot of his teammates were injured. His numbers just weren't worthy, and numbers are a factor.
They are. Well,
and I get it, the offensive line was banged up, but like Nick said, the touchdowns, the interceptions, just the passer rating was, 94?
I think the part about value, the part about MVP voters not having a clear line of like what you have to do. It's not just a statistical thing. I mean, listen.
I mean, in that case, of Mahomes is this value. I mean, you could put that value on Mahomes. Even though they lost, he clearly was doing everything for that team offensively.
Yeah, but
if we're gonna, it's just shifting the whole paradigm for what we tend to think of as an MVP.
Well, listen, if it was a pure statistical argument, Stafford should have lapped the field. I mean, he led the league in touchdowns and yards by a mile. So but he didn't even get.
I thought it was closer than it should have been.
Listen, I said on January 7th on the show, we went back and looked at it, that it was going to be the closest MVP vote since at least 2012, the Adrian Peterson year, and it ended up being the closest it could possibly be since it was a literal split. I thought I would have given it to Maye because of, again, doing more with less. During the course of the year, the Rams' defense was better than the Patriots' defense in the regular season. It did not end up that way, and it certainly hasn't been through the playoffs. The Rams' running game was better than the Patriots' running game there. Puka Nacua is a first-team All-Pro wide receiver, and Devontae Adams led the league in touchdowns. So I thought that Stafford had way more help around him than Drake Maye, which is why I would have flipped Maye and Stafford if it was my vote.
So listen, I think Stafford's the rightful MVP. I'm glad he won it. I think he's now a minted Hall of Famer, which makes me happy. I think he's a Hall of Fame talent. Now he has, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame resume. I also thought it was close. I disagree with you that if it was just a purely statistical argument, there's no argument for Maye because while just banging on all year, he led the league in passer rating, did he?
He led in passer
completion
rating,
percentage.
31 touchdowns.
And a lot of the advanced stats
like
EPA per drop back, QPRs per pass,
Over 4,000 yards.
I was just saying the historical, the counting stats.
Yes.
Yards, touchdowns, and he led he had 47
Do you
touchdowns.
think it should be like a yards, touchdowns? Like, are we all overthinking it? And just like Aaron Rodgers got more touchdowns, he wins MVP.
No, I mean, I don't think it can be that black and white, but I do think that yards and touchdowns are important.
Right.
And so I think that those, I think sometimes we miss. I watched Mina's, defense of her Drake Maye vote, and it was so, and she's great. I really like Mina, and it was so heavy on stats that claim to be definitive that I don't know that everyone prays to the EPA per play gods the way certain people do. Those stats certainly favored Drake Maye, but my issue is not with it being close, and my issue wouldn't have been if it was flipped. If it was Maye 24, Stafford 23, and Maye ekes it out. My issue is with the three people that voted for Allen and Herbert, or even people that would have had Herbert third. To me, there has to be a distinction between this guy really did overcome a lot this year. And you know what? Given his circumstances, his play was better than the numbers would suggest if you watch it week to week. Between that and he was one of the three most valuable players in the entire sport this year. And the Allen and Herbert voters, to me, what they are saying is, I actually don't care what happens in the games. I think those guys are the best. Like, there is no argument for Josh Allen to have a first-place MVP.
That's what
vote
it bothers. Like
there is none whatsoever.
The protest vote of it bothers me a little.
Which again, I said if I had a vote, I would have voted him third. Who would your third-place vote have been?
I think my third-place vote. I think I said it was Josh. I think it's
okay.
Josh.
I had Josh third.
I feel like Josh should be unanimous.
I'd have him above Herbert.
There's someone I might have said CMC. I'm not sure, but but he would have been on my. But I think there is a huge difference. I think that my general feeling is anyone that watched this season and had a vote and had any thought that I hope my ballot is correct. I want my ballot to win. And I am not voting for either Matt Stafford or Drake Maye, should not have a vote. Like, that's why I'm going to go back to the thing I said about the Hall of Fame thing. I wonder if we would get more honest ballots if the way it actually worked was we have 50 voters, but we are not tabulating. We are picking one of these 50 ballots at random, and that's the award.
I like that.
And then you are,
I know it's crazy, but there's value.
There's value.
Here's what I would do if I was a voter.
Wouldn't that promote groupthink?
What do you mean?
Yeah, it would.
But Danny, do you think the person the two people that voted Josh Allen were like, you know what? Josh Allen is probably going to be on the stage accepting this award, or is it just like?
Right,
I'm
that's what
voting
I-
is
but
a little bit of a protest.
It's just, I don't think it was a protest vote. It's what they thought. Because like I said, they don't give you criteria. And I think, Danny, I think those two voters think Josh Allen's the best player in the league.
Yeah.
And their criteria is best player in the league.
And Sam laid out his criteria, which was overcame the most. But that's, and again, you're right, they don't give you criteria, but that ain't the award. This is why.
But they would say it is value. I mean, to them, he was valuable. I don't look at it as just value. I kind of look at it as
and
outstanding
he obviously,
and all that.
Listen, Justin Herbert in the regular season is an immensely valuable player. That is very different than Justin Herbert in what might have been the third best regular season of his own career, was the most valuable player in the entire sport. And I know we have to move on. There has to be an accounting for this player is this great, and it is totally unfair to expect him to look great if his left tackle is out. That, to me, is I can't square that circle. And everyone can say, no, it was both tackles. But when Rashawn Slater went out in August, we all knew that situation. And if the whole house of Justin Herbert's greatness for this year was built on we can't have any more offensive line injuries, that's a shaky foundation to begin with. And I don't buy it.
It's pretty great that the Patriots defense did hold an MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
To
guy
3
who could
points.
have won
Absolutely.
3 points.
Right.
Sure.
That makes that more
amazing.
impressive.
Jarrett Stidham got 7.
Yeah, spin zone.
Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites. What Pringles is calling the big game, but no faith. No faith.
I laugh every time.
He likes it.
Every time.
No favorites have covered that spread in decades, Danny. And the underdogs 2-5 outright. What do you think the Seahawks should worry about most? This is a question that you pitched I liked.
Well, thank you for giving me credit for the question. I think I try to devil's advocate myself. Like I like the Seahawks. I've liked them all year. They're the favorite. Everybody's picking them. So how do I
Nobody on this show so far except me.
Yeah, all of a sudden.
Coach Greg.
4-1.
Yeah,
Blue Wild.
I watched it.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. We'll get to my picks here in a little bit. There's not much suspense for who I like in the game.
Yeah.
It's something that Wild said a couple of days ago that has just stuck with me, and it was, what if the player who wrecked last year's Super Bowl wrecks this year's Super Bowl? It's a great argument. Milton Williams is a spectacular football player, and the interior to right side of the Seahawks offensive line could be vulnerable, and we can show what Milton Williams did in the Super Bowl last year just to refresh people's memory. He was incredible, and they gave him a 9-figure contract, and when he's been on the field for the Patriots this year, which we have also, they've been dominant. And I've said it all week and last week too, the Patriots are playing their best defense of the season right now. Part of that, I think, has been Jarrett Stidham, crazy weather, CJ Stroud, awful game. I do think that has been part of it, but they've been playing really well for a while. And now if you do the whole thing, they're number 1 and 2, these two teams, in scoring defense over the course of the year. So the Patriots defense could dominate this game, led by Milton Williams. That's what would worry me.
I think that's a good answer. I'm going to say overconfidence, just the human element. I mean, they have been hearing for 2 weeks, you're going to smash them. You're the best. I mean,
smash them.
They heard what Patrick Surtain said,
sure.
35-7. I'm not saying they watched our show, but everybody who came on our show, it was easy. Seahawks. We saw the poll at ESPN, 49 out of 59 or whatever it is. And the NFC championship game is the real championship. Even Coach told us he's been talking to coaches in the NFC with different teams that feel like the AFC was the JV this year. So they are hearing this for 2 weeks. Darnold never has been here. Smith and Jigba is young, never has been here. Like, they got a lot of young guys, first time in this game. I'm sure that they are being coached against that. Don't listen to the pundits, this and that, but they're human beings. And just a little bit of letdown that we just think we're the better team, even if it's subconscious, can work against you. And that's why we've seen so many astounding upsets that we never would have picked in a one-game situation. And so I think that's something they have to guard against.
All right, before I answer the question, I think, listen, I watched Milton Williams last year wreck a Super Bowl. I think he's a really good player. I also think there is no argument in the world that he is even the best player at his position playing on Sunday. Leonard Williams is flatly better than him. I missed when Milton Williams, who's an excellent run defender, became Chris Jones or Aaron Donald. I have heard, I don't think Milton Williams has wrecked by himself a game since the Super Bowl. He's been really good. I think he has been super impactful on the Patriots' run defense. While yes, the Seahawks right guard is a question mark. What happened last year, his ability to the Eagles pass rush last year was a collective effort more than just Milton Williams.
Sure.
And I don't look at him. I look at him as an important player. I would be stunned if we're here Monday like, man, Milton Williams did it again, and I didn't feel like we left last year's Super Bowl saying Milton Williams did it. I think we left last year's Super Bowl saying
blowout.
Right, but it was the Eagles' defensive front as a whole collapsing what was left of the Chiefs' offensive line. So that's just my take. I think it's very obvious what should worry the Seahawks the most, and it's that Sam Darnold's going to show up to the Super Bowl, see the Patriots cross the field, be reminded of the single worst moment of his career, something that Wilds, before the Patriots were playing in the Super Bowl, would say was very unfair by NFL Films to have let it out and let people have access
Punished
to
by
it.
his own creativity.
Yeah.
Good line.
His own great choice of words.
Right, and I mean if they play the game 100 times and there's 30 Seahawks losses, 20 of them involve Sam Darnold playing poorly. And I understand Milton Williams could cause that. I get that. But I think to me, that is the only, as someone who is picking and betting the Seahawks, that is the only thing I'm really worried about. I'm not saying it's not the only concern I have, but it's the only significant concern I have.
Has Drake Maye's stock dropped in your book to the point where, I mean, the guy was one vote away from winning the MVP, and I just haven't heard a lot of here's something you should worry about. Matthew Stafford clone who can run.
Yeah, because I don't think he's Matthew Stafford clone in any way, shape, or form.
It was 5. I mean,
no, but KW, right, and the
player of his caliber.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes Steve Nash wins MVP and LeBron's second, and they're not clones.
You think that's the difference?
No, Steve Nash won MVP. I'm saying sometimes 1 and 2 super MVP candidates are not similar in how they play or similar players. What?
No, I know. Yes, I agree. In the Drake Maye direction.
So
you got a guy who's going to air it out and can be just as more accurate this season than Matthew Stafford. Can air the ball out down the field. Was better at it than Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford was obviously great and can run. That would be my worry if I'm the Seahawks. So this guy's like Stafford, but he can run.
So to answer your question, Drake Maye's overall stock, Drake Maye as a player, Drake Maye's future, has not dropped at all for me. How well I think Drake Maye is going to play in this Super Bowl? Certainly, if you told me going into the playoffs, the Patriots are going to be in the Super Bowl, what I would have expected for Drake Maye is much better than what I expect now. I don't expect a good Drake Maye game because, as you would say, I've never seen him play a good playoff game start to finish. I'm not saying it can't happen. I've just never seen it happen.
Small sample size.
Small sample size sport.
Yeah.
All right, it's time now for Parkins Picks. This is the final edition of Parkins Picks. I don't know if we're doing it for college basketball, maybe March Madness. But we're doing a little bit of props and a little bit of just straight Parkins Picks.
That's right. So, before we look forward, it's a good time, as always, to look back. Lost the regular season by 1.
Lost the only thing
These
that
things
mattered.
happen. Some say it's the only thing that matters, but Playoffs matter.
Oh, overall.
4-8
That's
v
not
8-4,
how it works.
and now overall 35.
That's how we've been doing
man,
like the Patriots graphics overall.
Yeah,
at
overall.
this point.
Who gave out the most winners? Who's got a winning record for the season? 53% versus 49.2%. Kind of embarrassing. Under 500, including the postseason. Couldn't be me. But hey, I'm giving you a chance to catch up here because we got 5 more for the postseason.
Just copying
These
my
count?
post.
Can you?
These
Oh,
count?
is this still?
This
you
should
still win.
it should
Why
be
would these
one
not
game.
count? Are we making bets on the show? Are we making bets on the show?
I might have to make an emotional bet of significance.
Making
but-
bets on the show? Am I wearing a chain?
Just go
The
ahead.
bets. Don't be so annoyed. The bets count. Well, Seattle
let's go.
minus
I-
4.5. All right, Seattle minus 4.5 is the pick. 27-16
Both
the
got
score. You
that.
can get 27-16 as the exact outcome of the Super Bowl at 120 to 1. Bet that this morning. But here's the thing. You guys have said, I've been on Seattle all year, so I wanted to go back into the archives of Top 10 Tuesday. 15 weeks in the top 10 for Seattle, 13 in the top 5, 4 ranked first, including at the end of the season, average rank of 3rd over the course of the year. So I just believe they're the better team.
Analytics.
And I've believed it all season. Right. That's exactly right. Now, that's a good one. I'm going to take that. Now for the total.
Well, we know.
All right, not everyone's doing addition, smart guy. Under 45.5 points, but I bet you didn't know the reason. Like this.
Because you have 27-16. That's 43.
That's
That's the
Nick,
reason.
I like to give extra information,
sure,
which is
no
why
problem.
I
What
give
was
more
your
winners
score,
than
Nick?
you.
It was close.
27-17.
Which we did not know, but yeah, it kind of scared the production staff of how close the predictions were. Either team scoring 23 points. If each team scored 23 or more, it would be over. Patriots have held their opponents to under 23 in 17 of 20 games. Seattle has held their opponents under 23 points in 15 of 19. Stands to reason that both those teams might score less than that going forward this year. Now for the props. Trevion Henderson, under 5.5 rushing attempts. He is just trending down in terms of usage overall. Ramondre Stevenson going up, Drake Maye going up. Look at this. In the playoffs, Drake Maye has as many carries as Trevion Henderson. Only had 3 in the AFC Championship game. I don't think they're going to be leading, so I don't think he's going to get a lot of opportunities at the end. But who's Drake Maye going to throw to? All my props on the New England side here.
This is interesting.
Ramondre Stevenson, over 24.5 receiving yards.
Yeah, he likes to run that.
They've been doing it a lot more recently,
Yeah.
and Drake Maye, in terms of his efficiency all year when targeting Stevenson, has been spectacular. Obviously, his completion percentage has been great all year, but just in terms of the second highest of any quarterback running back.
These are not necessarily like in the flat either.
No, he
Ramondre
runs.
will run down the field and catch a touchdown.
Yeah, he can catch long ones. He's been great in that for Drake Maye. They target him a ton. And then the last one, we talked about this in the office. Was surprised to not see it in Nick's picks. Drake Maye over 38.5 rushing yards. Drake Maye on scrambles this year. He's been the best running quarterback in the NFL, both in attempts, yards, and big rushes this year. If they're going to be trailing, it's going to be a coaching point. Seahawks turn their back on him. He takes off and runs.
And you don't have to worry about losing yards on kneel downs at the end because they're going to be losing. So.
Because Josh Dobbs will be in.
That looks like 5-0.
Excellent job, Danny.
Thank you.
And a great season, even though I think when we add everything up, I don't know.
Welcome back to the OT. We got Coach Mangini on the desk and Willie Colon live from the site of the Super Bowl in San Francisco with us now. Time for a little edition of More Likely, Super Bowl edition. What do we got first?
More likely to throw for 300-plus yards, Darnold or May?
This one was hard because I don't think either one of them are very likely to throw for over 300 yards, but I landed on Drake Maye, and for a couple of reasons. One, if I think they're going to be trailing, he could have to be chucking it late in order to catch up and get yards that way. But also, both defenses are really good. But the Patriots defense has been remarkable at holding opponents under this total. 18 consecutive weeks, starting quarterbacks have not gone over 300 yards. First 2 games, they got gashed. Last 18 games, they're averaging 177 passing yards against. Obviously, both defenses are good, but that streak was too much for me, Willie, to overcome. So I say Drake Maye more likely than Darnold. What about you, Willie?
I'm going the other way, Danny. I'm going with Sam Darnold. You got to understand, Mike Vrabel's been telling his defense all week, we have to stop the run. We got to stop the run. We stop the run, the Seahawks don't have a chance. if that does happen, we know how good the interior line, defensive line for the Pats is. It's going to buy sheer value and force Darnold to throw it. And if it comes down to a shootout, I trust Sam Darnold. And overall, man, when you talk about what Sam Darnold has done or earned from me is my trust. I know we talked about it a lot during this week. Who do you trust the most if it comes down to a shootout? For me, it's Sam Darnold. Coach.
Yeah, I'm like you, Danny. I don't think either guy's going to be over 300 yards. And when you look at their track record, Sam Darnold's gone over 300 yards only 3 times this season, and only 3 times the season before, which is surprising considering how successful he's been from a win-loss perspective.
It's more than Drake Maye.
And Drake Maye, he's done it 1 time in the last 2 years. I can't imagine this becomes both guys are chucking the ball all over the field, and the numbers are huge. I see it going the other way, where we've got 2 sort of moderately productive passing numbers from both guys.
So you're not even giving me a more likely?
Yeah, it's Sam Darnold.
No, okay, all right, good. We're playing.
That's a long way to get to begrudgingly Sam
Okay,
Darnold.
thank you. Play the game,
Sorry.
Coach. All right, what's next?
More likely to dominate, JSN or any Patriot weapon?
So, I think the answer here has to be JSN. And I know that can sound disrespectful because it's like, JSN or the field of Patriots, but he's just so clearly the best skill position player in this game. Like, who is second? Kenneth Walker III, Stephon Diggs, like whoever you would say is second is just in a different stratosphere from the guy who just won Offensive Player of the Year. So for me, Coach, it's JSN against any Patriot.
Yeah, for me, it's JSN as well. And I do think the Patriots are going to work hard to take that away. It's not like it's a big secret who they're going to go to. And I imagine he'll get a significant amount of double teams. But my experience, we played the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, and we were doubling Terrell Owens. And Terrell Owens now wasn't even supposed to play. It was almost a certainty that he wouldn't play. But not only does he play, and not only were we doubling him on almost every single snap, but he still had 9 catches for 132 yards and 13.6 yard average. And great players, as much as you try to take away from them, sometimes they're just better.
You going clean sleep,
I'm
Willie?
with you, Coach. Yeah, I think we're all saying the same thing here. I'm going with JSN. You know, he's featured in this offense. They look to get him the ball in between the 20s and in the red zone. So you talk about, I expect him to get at least 8 to 10 catches. I expect him to really have a breakout game. Coach is 100% right. They're going to try to do everything they can to erase him off the field. We've seen other defenses try, but he's still productive. So I'm going with JSN, Danny.
All right, so there is a clean sweep there. We'll see if we have any disagreement. What's next?
More likely to create a game-changing turnover, DeMarcus Lawrence or Milton Williams?
This is a fun one, but I went with DeMarcus Lawrence, and I just think that there's a pretty straightforward formula here. If we put it up on the screen, it's a 3-part issue why I chose DeMarcus Lawrence. Basically, Will Campbell has allowed more pressures than any player in the playoffs. DeMarcus Lawrence leads the Seahawks in pressures. He'll be lined up over Will Campbell a ton. And Drake Maye has the most fumbles during the playoffs. So, well, obviously any interception can happen. Anyone can be disruptive. DeMarcus Lawrence was my pick, Coach.
Yeah, I went the other way. Look, I'm a DeMarcus Lawrence fan because, you know, he's had such a long career and hasn't had an opportunity like this. And he's played really well for him, and I think he's galvanized that defense. But I've been so impressed by the impact that Milton Williams had. And when you look at last year's Super Bowl, Milton Williams has 2 sacks, and one of his sacks is a strip sack fumble recovery early in the fourth quarter. And I think that type of impact is very reasonable to see again this game.
Break the tie, Willie.
I'm going with DeMarcus Lawrence. Listen, I've watched this guy all year. Him and Big Cat Williams, Leonard Williams. Their interior line stunts is something. It's clinic. It's teach tape. When you watch these guys in between the tackles and how they operate and changing levels and really being able to get to the quarterback, they harp on that, man. And his ability to be an impact player comes down to how he attacks the edges. I got a lot of faith in him. Listen, this guy's been in the league a long time. He wants this, so I think he's going to play hungry. He's going to be ready to go, DP.
All right, me and Willie on that side. Coach on the side of Milton Williams, who I did say in the A block could wreck the game if I am wrong, on the side of the Seahawks. But let's get to the last one. What's next?
More likely dark horse MVP, Rashid Shaheed or Ramondre Stevenson?
Another fun one, because I would be shocked if either guy won Super Bowl MVP. And I am picking Seattle in the game. But if I have to pick between these two, I'm going with Ramondre Stevenson. Because there's only been one returner ever to win Super Bowl MVP, Desmond Howard. And now it's been all the way back since Terrell Davis in 1997 for a running back to win Super Bowl MVP, but it has happened 7 times. There's a world where this is a low-scoring game, the Patriots win, and both of the Patriots' touchdowns go to Ramondre Stevenson. I'm not sure that there's a lot of scenarios that I can see where the Seahawks win and Rashid Shaheed's the MVP. He'd have to have a kick return touchdown and be involved in other ways. I know he's a trendy pick because of big plays, because he does have a return touchdown in these playoffs, Willie. But between these two guys, I think there's a cleaner path for Stevenson to win it.
Yeah, I'm going to the other side of the corner. I'm going Rashid Shaheed. I think you go back to the divisional game against the Niners, him taking a yard right off the rip, man, how much that impacted the game. That really set the 49ers back because they had to play catch-up all the way through that game, and they just could never. He is the X factor. Ever since he landed on the Seattle Seahawks, and you talk about even with a deep receiving core, he still pops on tape. So I like him a lot. I think he has a chance to be an MVP, Coach.
Yeah, I actually like this pick. The more that I look at what he's done over the course of his career, the more I like this pick because he has the dangerous component as a returner, and we saw him catch the 50-yard pass this past game. But when you look over the course of his career, he's had a significant amount of deep balls that he's caught, and he's a better receiver than you think. The number of receptions that he had in New Orleans per year was much better than I thought. And you can also turn and give him the ball on if you want to, like wide receiver type sweeps or things like that. So you can throw him the ball, and he's effective there. You can hand him the ball. He's effective in the threat there. He's going to be a part of a big part of the return game. But outside of that, let's say you do push the coverage to Njigba, and then maybe you take your best corner and you put him over on Cooper Kupp. That means he's going to have a matchup against their third guy or some type of beneficial matchup. Maybe it's on a linebacker or safety, that type of thing, which again could lead to an impactful play.
I looked this up before. He only had 7 carries this year. Like they don't really, because he's so fast, you would think that they would run that end around for him more. So he could definitely get it in the return game. He could definitely catch a deep ball. The problem with catching the deep ball, often in the Super Bowl MVP conversation, that credit ends up going to the quarterback. But he's not really used that much in the run game.
Yeah, and the antennas are going to be up every time he's in the game to be alert for gadgets, and especially if he's moving or in a spot that he isn't normally in. And just because they haven't used him that much doesn't mean that this is in the game that they have 2 or 3 plays that are specifically designed for him where they think they could be game breakers.
Could be the wrinkle. All right, Willie, Coach and I will give our official picks later on in the show. You are at the site of Super Bowl 60. Simple question, my friend. Who you got? And the MVP.
So and the MVP. Yeah, I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks. I just feel like they're the most complete team. And I trust listen, I've said I love Sam Darnold. I love his story and how he has a chance to rewrite his legacy. I can see him getting MVP in this game. I love Sam's grit. I know there's going to be a lot of attention on stopping the run game. I think he's going to stand up in the big moments. And listen, he may give you a pick, right? He may do something that's quirky, like, man, Sam. But we've seen him come out of it. We've seen him be poised in a moment. I just feel like he's primed for the moment. I love everything how everything's aligned for him to be the MVP. It'll be a great story, a journeyman, 5 teams, lands on a Super Bowl outfit, and he brings it home for Seattle. I'm going with Sam Darnold, DP.
Well, I respect the chalk. You went with the favorite for the game and the favorite for MVP. So give me a score. I want the exact score according to Willie Colon, and I'll bet it for you.
Oh, nice.
Oh boy, I'm going. What do I have? I think I'm going 24-14. 24-14.
I could probably get you like 80-1. It's not a problem. Tough to predict the exact score. Willie, enjoy San Francisco. You've been great on the OT this year. Willie. Safe travels back, and we'll see you to react.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.